Introducing the new Osight X red dot. Hey everybody, I'm Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. Okay, so today being the release of these two optics officially, I've been testing them prior to the release, so I wasn't able to talk about them, but now we can. So look up, link in the description below, check them out. They're being released today. If you guys are looking for an optic like this, hey, go for it. Doing some testing behind the scenes prior to its official release date. Yes, the Osight S, and I'll talk about another optic pretty soon that I haven't had the chance to test because of some issues. I'll tell you about that. But as you can see here, here's the Osight X that we've been talking about. And then here's the Osight S. The Osight S is more towards handguns because it is a tiny little thing compared to the Osight X, which is right here. See the difference in the size? Lot smaller. So this is for use on optics ready handguns. There you go. It's a nice little sight, has that charging area on the top, has the windage and elevation on it, and it also has that circle with a dot in the middle with a little tacks. On an optic this tiny, I'm not so sure how I feel about that necessarily, but it seems to be a decent little optic. Has the charging hood, like I mentioned, the extra screws, the little bag it comes with, charging cord, etc. The tools. It has everything you need in here. It comes with a little cover over there. I took it off when I was unboxing, but they seem to be pretty decent optics. So if you're looking for a micro dot, little red dot for your rifle, or if you're a handgun, this might be a decent option. It does have 3 reticle options. It has a circle with a dot and the little ticks. It has just a dot or just a circle. So that being said, I think I'm just going to run probably the dot. So it does have 3 options. I'll see long term how I like it. But so far, so good. I'm happy with the product. What do I think about the Osight X? Well, let's get into it. What is it first? It's a little micro dot. It's a decent looking red dot, but it's not just a red dot. It also has the circle and the little tick marks, kind of like an EOTech. When I first got it out of the box, honestly, what did I think? I thought, wow, that's way too crowded for an optic this size, for the sight picture that size and everything like that. So, correction. When I first started testing this optic, I did what I always do. I don't read the instruction manual. I'm a guy, I can figure it out, right? No, what I always do is I grab it out of the box, throw it on, I do testing, stuff like that, because I try to figure things out on my own, but I need to correct some things because going back through the process of testing, you know, because we got to test things thoroughly, I read the instructions, so I got acquainted with some of the functions of the optic. And some of the functions are pretty cool. I like them. So with this optic, we have an automatic and a manual brightness adjustments. So manual mode, self-explanatory, comes on at brightness setting 8, and then you can adjust up or down for the brightness that you need in the area. Or following the instructions, I forget exactly which button you push and for how long you hold it, but it's very simple. Then you can turn it into automatic mode, and it senses the ambient light around you. And through testing, this function works fairly well. So mine is automatically set on that because what I figure is it gets me closer to where I need to be automatically, depending on changing conditions, whether I'm outside in the bright and then I got to go inside and do CQB or something like that, the conditions change and it automatically adjusts. So I may need to do a little bit of manual adjustment, but at least it gets me closer to the ballpark. So I like that feature. And another feature that I like is if it is stationary for 10 minutes, it automatically turns off. That's a good feature because I can leave it on all the time. and then it turns off. So if I pick it up, just turn it back on, good to go. But it would be cool function to have it would be cool if it had a shake awake function. It doesn't have that, but the biggest correction I got to do is what I was just talking about, is the reticles. There's the circle with a dot with the little tick marks in it. When I first started testing, that's where it was set on. So I thought that was the only reticle. Well, going back and reading it and everything like that, like you have to do, I found out that it switches between modes. It is set on that one automatically, and then when you press and hold, I think it's the brightness down button, it allows you to change between the dot, circle, tick marks to just a dot, or just the circle and tick marks without a dot. I don't know why you'd want that one, but I like the fact that it has just a dot option. So that's where mine is now. I set it to just the dot option, and most of the testing I did was on that, because I just did out of the box, threw it on, zeroed it, and did some testing without reading, because I like doing that first before I go back and read. But anyway, I had to clarify that, so let's move on with the video. But what do I think about it after I started using it? Well, first let's get into the zeroing process. The zeroing process was extremely easy because, I mean, the adjustments are flat blade screwdriver adjustments for elevation and windage, but it's just standard. That's not the big deal. What I did is I flipped up my backup irons and I just put the dot, because it's a true co-witness, on top of my front post, right on my front post, and it was zeroed. So the zeroing process was very easy. So far, I have put about 200 rounds through this optic, and it's retained zero. The battery life, I mean, I left it on one night, all overnight and stuff like that. I've used it, you know, over the course of a couple days, you know, shooting, and, you know, it hasn't died. But, you know, that's to be expected. It should have a battery life of quite a while. Some of the things I was thinking about, like, okay, internal batteries or the rechargeable type, because it's made by Osight. They're separating from Olight, but, you know, same company. So it has this little hood that goes over top of the optic. You can see on the top of the optic there, the little shiny pad. That's for charging the optic. I have tested the first optic that Olight came out with in the Osight line. It normally resides on this very pistol. That may be changing. Actually, I think I do like this one a little bit better. I think I do like having that circular style reticle. Although I'm not sure, because it could kind of, it's personal preference, it could kind of clutter the picture and kind of obscure some stuff. But if you get the brightness setting set correctly, I feel that it would work properly. So what are my thoughts so far on this optic? So far, I mean, it turns on, it's easy to zero, it's easy to adjust, it retains zero, which is the big thing. Number one thing, it retains zero. I mean, that's all I can ask for a red dot, honestly. One thing I do like about it, it's kind of a menial little thing, but pushing the plus and minus adjustments for the brightness controls is how you turn it off. A lot of other optics, you gotta sit there and kind of hold them for a second or two before they turn off. I like this one. You just push them, boom, it goes off. I like that. It's simple, because how many times have you been out there trying to turn it off and you're using one hand and you're trying to turn it off and it's not going off, then you gotta sit here with both hands and turn it and hold it, and then it finally goes off. This is much more intuitive. Even with gloves, turn it like that, turned off. So yeah, I like that about it. Like I said, it's kind of a menial thing. Would I recommend this optic? Well, you know, I'm not exactly sure where the price point is. I think they're about $250-ish. I currently have enough optics. I'm not in the market for one, but if I was, maybe. It's all in what you want and your personal preferences. I kind of like this optic. Like I said, this setup will reside on this pistol from now on. So yeah, I like it. It works well. It is non-magnified. It is just, you know, it's great for CQB purposes. for a little CQB truck gun like this. But anyway, that's my take on the Osight X. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And blessings to you and yours.